Go ahead and give our introduction.
Hi, the Junior League of Boca Raton is honored to present a virtual talk by Barb Schmidt on facing the new normal, tools to rise above anxiety. For those of you who don't know us, the Junior League of Boca Raton's mission is to promote volunteerism, develop the potential of women, and improve the community through the effective action and leadership of trained volunteers. Its purpose is exclusively educational and charitable. Our focus areas include hunger, child welfare, and nonprofit support. During this pandemic, we have helped 19 nonprofits that work with infants and toddlers throughout Palm Beach County and into Broward receive much needed diapers. Responding to supply demands due to the coronavirus shutdown, volunteers filled trucks and one school bus with a combined 100,000 plus diapers, part of the League's ongoing diaper bank initiative. During this distribution, we handed out our 4 millionth diaper since 2011. We will have another distribution of at least 100,000 diapers this month. If you'd like to support the Junior League of Boca Raton, please visit www.jlbr.org. Thank you so much for joining us. Before I introduce the speakers, I'd like to go over a couple of things. This talk will be on the Junior League of Boca Raton's Facebook page for anyone who missed it or wants to revisit the talk. Barb will answer questions after her talk, so please use the Q&A section of Zoom and she will get to as many questions as possible. We are unable to answer questions in the chat, so please go to the Q&A section. Barb Schmidt is a practitioner of mindfulness and meditation for over 30 years. She is the author of the internationally best-selling book, The Practice. Barb Schmidt has been on over 100 retreats and studied with teachers around the world, from Deepak Chopra to the Dalai Lama. In 2011, she founded the nonprofit organization Peaceful Mind, Peaceful Life to bring mindfulness teachings to the community and make them accessible to everyone. She has taught meditation courses at Nova Southeastern University and Florida Atlantic University and oversees the Peaceful Mind, Peaceful Life Wellness Series designed to empower women to live life fully at Boca Raton Regional Hospital's Christine E. Lynn Women's Health and Wellness Institute. And Michelle Maros is Peaceful Mind, Peaceful Life's co-founder and creative director. She teaches workshops and seminars on mindfulness and meditation. And now I'm going to hand it over to Barb Schmidt. Thank you so much for doing this talk for us.
Oh, Jamie, thank you. I'm going to cry. Can't start off crying. I am so happy to be here. I can't thank you, Jamie, and the Junior League of Boca Raton. You guys have just put together just heroic stuff that you're doing here and in the community as well. So thank you so much. And thank you, Calvin McLeod over at Boca Raton Regional Hospital. We've had the greatest time trying to put together as much as possible for everyone. And I wouldn't be here without Michelle and Lauren Shawcross, the Peace of Mind, Peaceful Life team. So I'm excited to be here with all of you because since the beginning of this isolation, even before, we've been planning this whole workshop on stress and anxiety. And it's 10 plus weeks now, I think, that we're in isolation. So much has changed. We've been through so much and we are processing so much through this collective trauma. We've never been through anything like this before. We all know that. And it is completely uncharted territory. So today I want you to take that in, that there's no roadmap for anything that you've been doing so far the past 10 weeks. And there more than likely won't be much of a roadmap for quite a while. We've heard from so many in the local community and also on our social media conversations that stress and anxiety and uncertainty and just dealing with the idea of everything being unknown is at an all-time high. So today I hope to help you feel less alone, to help you realize that whatever you're feeling during this time is normal, it is natural, and to give you some tools to help you cultivate. This is the perfect time for us to be cultivating mental resiliency. So to help you cultivate that mental resiliency, which is going to absolutely help you tap in to all of the strength that you have within you, to end up handling everything that comes your way, not perfectly, but with a sense of confidence and power. So I think we all knew this before this pandemic happened, but we sure know it now, that we absolutely have no control over anything from moment to moment. So first I want to tell you to let yourself off the hook if you're trying to get over it, do things perfectly, or if you're trying to be an example for your family members or your friends or your kids or whatever it is, you have to let go of that because there's no such thing. We are always pivoting and moving and changing, and things are changing. And even though you may be feeling like you're getting used to things, we've got the Zoom meeting, which is like incredible, distance learning, all the things that we're settling into the new normal, it's going to change tomorrow, or it's going to change the next day. So there is a new normal that for sure we will all be settling into. But I think what this has taught us is that we don't actually really settle in. We get comfortable, but we always have to be aware and open to anything that's going to change in the moment. So release yourself from perfection. Release yourself from the need or the thoughts that might want to compare you to someone else and how they're doing. And I also want to say that none of that matters. Like, this is a time where none of that matters. What matters is just you showing up and just being exactly who you are and doing all of the things that you need to do to connect to you. So I want to talk a minute before we get into the ways that I want to talk with you about practice, about this idea that we're experiencing a collective trauma. This global pandemic is a universal trauma. And so our minds, our bodies, our spirits are in constant fight and flight mode. We are in trauma response 24/7, even while we're sleeping. We are on alert because we don't know what's going to happen from any given moment. So I want to remind you that this is a really big deal. And so you may be feeling a wide range of emotions, especially anger. And so what's helped me through all of this is remembering what Eckhart Tolle says, that where there is anger, there is always pain underneath. And so this is something that we're all facing right now, and anger is a normal reaction and emotion as human beings. And for some, it can be easier to tap into the anger than it is to truly acknowledge the pain and the sadness underneath. So just take a deep breath and just take that in for a minute. Everything that we're going through right now is sad and very painful. So I'm going to bring up anger again later on in this talk, but I want to reiterate that this is the perfect moment for us to cultivate great mental resilience. So what is anxiety? The simple explanation of anxiety, it's when your mind leaves the present moment. That's it. When the mind goes to the past, when you start having anxious thoughts, it means the mind is in the past, regretting, should've, would've, could've, all of the things. When it goes to the future, it's worrying about, oh my gosh, what's going to happen next? And am I going to have what it takes to handle it? But when you can be in the present moment, doing the task at hand, whatever that is, all is well. You aren't feeling anxious, you're feeling empowered, and you're doing what it is that you need to do in the present moment. And probably many of us have felt that, I would say most dramatically, when we're with our kids. And especially now with the distance learning, you're probably really feeling this, that you're like right there with them in the moment. You can't use the mental capacity to go anywhere else. So I was on retreat with Thich Nhat Hanh in the early 90s. And before we went on the walking meditation, he gave us one sentence. He gave it to prepare, to instruct, to inspire. He said, be where your feet are. I've never forgotten that. It was 1993. Be where your feet are. This is the best explanation that I have ever found of what being in the present moment, be here now, all of the great teachers that talk about that, be where your feet are. So I'd like to use that, or for you to use that as the example during this whole talk and for the rest of your life. If you're feeling anxious, just ask yourself, am I where my feet are? So I want to walk you through these practices that I have found helpful over the 30 plus years that I've been practicing mindfulness and meditation. But I want to start off with a research project that was done by Harvard psychologists Matthew Killingsworth and Daniel Gilbert. They said we spend 46.9% of our waking time thinking about something other than what we're doing. So over half of the time, waking time, we are thinking about something other than what we are doing. And their conclusion of the study was profound. They concluded that a wandering mind is an unhappy mind. So, i.e., a wandering mind is an unhappy mind, is an anxious mind. When we're not happy, when we're feeling dissatisfied, we're feeling anxiety, we're feeling stress, we're feeling some emotion that elicits some anxiety inside of us. So I hope this helps you to start to recognize and see that the mind is everything. Everything begins and ends in the mind, and that everything we do in our life is about the mind. So I want to talk to you now about 8 ways to lessen anxiety. So the first one, many of you may already be doing, and so if you are, maybe tighten it up a little bit, because I think we're in this for a little while, and that's routine and structure. I believe that routine and aligned structure helps us relieve anxiety. So why is that? It's because we have a sense of control. Everything is about us feeling like we've got this, feeling like we can handle this. So a routine and structure gives us a sense of control. And what I mean by that is that even if you don't need to, so if you're working from home, get dressed. So I would ask yourself, all of routines and things, they make us feel like life is normal. We get a sense of, okay, all is well right now. I can do this. And I learned this 35 years ago, that I can do anything for one moment that maybe I couldn't do for a whole lifetime. So routine and structure helps you understand and feel that sense. So ask yourself, what is your normal routine? Is it making coffee, getting dressed, going for a walk, exercising? Whatever it is, maybe incorporate 1 or 2 of those back into your daily schedule and see how that helps you to start feeling like you have a little bit of control and a sense of normalcy. Second thing is your space and your environment. So maybe you've looked at this, especially if you're working at home or you've got kids and you're doing the distance learning, but your space is everything. Your environment is everything. And I've been home now for 10 weeks. So my space is uncluttered. And not because I felt like I needed to get all this done because I had all this time on my hands. I wanted my space to feel good for me. I wanted to feel like I could take a breath and just settle into this space and it feels nice. So declutter if it's there, but more than that, ask yourself, how do you feel when you see a mess? It's so important that you know how you feel and how you react and how you act to things, because that's what happens in the mind. So I know when I see a mess, I get anxious. I want to go clean it up. So decluttering your space greatly reduces, it prevents anxiety, but it also reduces anxiety when it's happening. Because if I start to feel anxious and something isn't quite right in my space, the minute I clean it up a little bit, I'm calm. So third, this is the big one. How do we start to practice and use self-care and mindfulness practices in the day? What does that even mean, and what does it look like? Because how you start to cultivate these practices and these new habits, they help you start to feel better, feel good, and feel more sane. So studies have shown that self-care practices and mindfulness practice throughout your day can actually start to have a huge impact on our mental health. So I want to introduce you to the 1% rule. There are 1,440 minutes in the day. 1%, 14 minutes. And so studies have also shown that when you can start spending 1% of your day on mindfulness and self-care practices, it literally starts to shift how you relate to the other 99% of your day. So what does that mean? So I would say if we're looking at 14 minutes for the day, so we're going to weave in, it doesn't mean 14 all at once. It means to weave in these 14 minutes all throughout the day. So for example, we start with the morning. I start every morning, I open my eyes and then I close them again. And I say to myself, I've been doing this for 30 some years. Thank you for the gift of this new day. And then I open my eyes and then I ask myself, I take a few deep breaths and I just ask myself, how are you feeling today, Barb? So whatever that routine is for you, before you actually step out of bed, I want you to think about this as I'm going to plug into me first. I'm going to spend just a couple of minutes with me first before I actually plug into the world. And so if you think about your phone needs to be plugged in, all the things that need to be charged and plugged in, think of this first 2-3 minutes, first thing in the morning, as charging yourself, connecting with you, knowing what's happening for you, feeling like, okay, I'm so grateful, starting the day with gratitude or whatever it is that you're going to say to yourself. So that's 2 to 4 minutes. And then you step into the day and you're looking for all of the places where there's a pause, where there's a natural transition for your day. So that can be before you answer the telephone, take a deep breath. Before you transition from one task to the next, just pause for a second and take a breath. Before you go through a hallway or before you go to a meeting or before you, while you're making dinner, before you serve the dinner, wherever there's a slight pause from one activity to the next, get into the habit of just pausing and taking a couple deep breaths. And then when you're waiting in line or at a stoplight or any of those places where you're waiting, and let's face it, waiting causes us anxiety sometimes. We're just not used to waiting. We just want to get in and get out. So wherever you're waiting, I want you to just take a breath and use a positive affirmation, such as be still and know, or all is well in this moment. It keeps your mind from going to worry or fear or any of the places that it wants to go when you're in this idle time of waiting. And so the next thing, number four is becoming aware of what your mind is saying to you. Becoming aware of your thoughts. So this takes practice of truly just sitting for a moment, maybe a minute a day, and actually just saying, what am I thinking from moment to moment? What am I saying to myself on a daily basis? Am I quick to react in a situation? Or do I pause for just a second and skillfully respond? That Viktor Frankl quote, between stimulus and response, there's a space. So there is a space between everything that happens. And if we can start to just look at that pause to see what's happening and what is our mind trying to tell us. So 5, name what you're feeling in the moment when you're feeling anxious. And this goes for all feelings, whether it's anxiety, anger, fear, whatever it is. Just pause for just a second and name it. Notice, oh my gosh, what am I feeling right now in this moment? So Jill Bolte Taylor, the neuroscientist who had a massive stroke at 37 years old, once she recovered from the stroke, she did research on what happened to her brain, what happened for the stroke. And what she discovered is that it takes 90 seconds for a feeling comes up, it takes 90 seconds for that feeling to completely move through our body, unless we start fueling that feeling with thoughts, unless we start thinking about the feeling instead of feeling the feeling. So I want you to pause when you're feeling a feeling, just pause and name it. Okay, I'm feeling anger right now in this moment. And so when anger comes up for you, naming it is a huge first step. It dissipates all of the feelings of that anger. And so the key here, though, is not to judge what you're feeling. It is a normal human reaction and emotion for us to feel anger. It is easier, though, sometimes to be with anger than it is to be with pain and suffering, as Eckhart Tolle said. And so it's also easier for us to name the anger when we're not judging ourselves for having it. Trust that feelings eventually come and go. And after giving time to process the heat of the anger, you will start to notice that you will start to find the coolness of clarity. This is where we can make the decisions in clarity. This is where we don't feel anxious. We really can feel, I've got the power. I'm in control here. I can make my own decision. I can take an action. And St. Augustine has a beautiful quote here that has been huge for me. He says, hope has 2 beautiful daughters, anger and courage. Anger at the way things are, and courage to see that they don't remain the way they are. So anger comes right after courage. Feel the anger, you get the courage. The courage can be as subtle as deciding to trust yourself and your decision completely. So number 6 is check in with yourself regularly. Instead of going, I gotta go, I will often just pause and I'll just say, how's it going for you, Barb? Just check in, just ask yourself, how's it going? You will get so many answers. And often my mind will say, usually it says fine, but often this past 10 weeks, it'll say, I would love for you to just sit down right now and take a few breaths. Because I told you, since everything in the outside world is slowed down and pretty much stopped, the mind has sped up. So often it's just please stop. Number 7, make sure you have your team of friends or your trusted inner circle. So clearly making sure that you know who your friends are, that you can share your most intimate, vulnerable feelings and ideas and thoughts with. Usually it's maybe 1 or 2 people. I have found that when I share too many vulnerable things, especially in stressful, anxious situations, my anxiety gets worse. and those people aren't quite maybe as trustworthy as the information that I shared, or whatever happens, I just know it's a big anxiety producer when we share things with people that we don't trust completely. So make sure that you're doing that. Let me see, what else do I have? Got one more. Number 8. Remember, you are not alone. This class, this talk that we're giving today, there are going to be over 500 people on the Zoom alone, and millions on Facebook. So we are never alone. You are never alone. Know that what you're going through during this stressful time, and in all stressful times, but we're focusing on this today, we've all are going through it with you, and that we've all been through it. We go through anxiety, we go through stress, we go through these emotions. We are normal human beings. So it is exactly okay for you to be here, feeling this, knowing that it's hard. Know that you're not alone. We're not all in the same boat. There are many people suffering in different capacities than maybe we are, or maybe you are and others aren't. But just know that this is really difficult, really, really difficult. So be kind and gentle with yourself. So I hope that that gave you a sense of those 8 simple ways. I hope they didn't feel too overwhelming. I don't believe that they're a lot. I believe as you start to just notice the places in your day, you will see how they just kind of unfold gradually. And so I want to close with this, and then I'll close with a little short meditation before we do the Q&A. I want to close with this. If big emotions have been coming up for you lately, you're not alone. As I said, we are all feeling this way. I have been feeling this way a lot. When our nervous systems are on overload, it is easy for us to get triggered by the seemingly small things that are happening around us. And then when the big emotions hit, we feel like it came out of nowhere. So as I said, there's no right way for you to be feeling right now. Name what you're feeling in the moment. And whatever you're feeling, please do not judge it. Difficult emotions like anger and sadness and fear are natural, normal human emotions. It is easier, as I said, for us to be with our uncomfortable feelings if you stop judging them. So forgive yourself for needing this precious time to manage or feel or deal with any overwhelming emotions that are happening for you. What's going on in our world right now is a lot for us to take in and sort out, and you might be feeling like you have to do it all right now. Take a deep breath. It's okay to feel hurt. It's okay to cry. It's okay to heal. It's okay to move on to the next feeling once you've felt it. When we allow ourselves the opportunity and the right to feel the hurt, we eventually have the willingness and the openness to feel joy. So our power comes, the true power in releasing anxiety and managing it and understanding what is happening for us in this moment comes from ourselves, allowing ourselves to feel the pain and the hurt, and knowing that we can take care of ourselves even while we're feeling the pain. So Michelle has said this almost every single week during this pandemic. Trying to be perfect during a pandemic is like trying to stay dry during a hurricane. We must learn to relax and understand and remember that your best is good enough, and that your best is going to change from moment to moment. I wanted to share with you one more thing, and I was looking for it. Our best, we get so hard on ourselves for our best, but our best is usually better than you think. So take that in for a moment. You've been handling this so incredibly well. You are here. So be the best in your life, the best that you feel in your life, regardless of what any of the outcomes are. Know that when you step in, you're more than enough, and that's okay. It's perfectly, perfectly great the way you are right now. The kindest, most loving thing that you can do, the most loving behavior that you can have, is to choose to take responsibility for yourself, for what we think, for what we feel, for the actions that we take, and for what we need. Rarely do we ask for what we need. And so I would like to say the most helpful thing that you can do for yourself is be true to yourself and then allow others to be responsible for themselves. And so loving and trusting yourself completely with loving kindness is how I would love and hope for you to treat yourself. Because you are incredibly amazing. You are exactly where you are supposed to be. And I love you all so very much. I'm so grateful to be here with you. This has been hard. It's been hard for me. It's been hard for you. It's been hard for everyone. So let's do a little meditation. I want to guide you in a loving kindness meditation for yourself. A short meditation. So if it's comfortable for you to close your eyes or just lower your gaze to the floor. So to begin by bringing your full attention to your body, feeling the weight of your body in the chair, maybe rearranging your posture a little bit, noticing your feet flat on the floor. Are you feeling any sensations in your feet as they're firmly grounded into the floor? Slowly bringing your attention to the fact that you are breathing, not trying to control your breath in any way, but simply experiencing the breath as it moves in through the body, in through the nose, and out through the nose and out through the body. Noticing as you breathe in through the nose, your abdomen expands out away from the body. And exhaling, your abdomen comes gently back into your body. Allowing your shoulders to relax away from your ears. This is an area where we carry a lot of day-to-day tension. Taking a deep breath in, noticing any tension that you might be feeling in your shoulder area. And as you exhale out, release anything that you're feeling or holding in that area right now. Noticing your neck and your throat. Let them be soft. Relax, soften your jaw. Letting all of the facial muscles relax and be soft. Softening your forehead. And now shifting your awareness to your entire head, your scalp and your skull region. Noticing the way your body knows just how to balance your head on your neck. Notice your whole body in this present moment. Experience your whole body breathing right now. Be aware of your whole body relaxed and feeling well in this moment. Take a deep breath in through the nose and exhaling out through the nose. Humanity is experiencing a collective trauma right now due to this global pandemic. It's normal for us to be feeling anxious, stressed, and grieving right now. Forgive yourself for needing this time to process any overwhelming emotions that you may be having. What's going on in the world is a lot for us to take in. Let the pressure off of yourself. This is the beginning of the healing process. Regaining your strength. Trust yourself completely. Trust that even in the most difficult times and your most difficult feelings will pass. Offering loving kindness and compassion for yourself. We are in this together, actually experiencing the same fear, uncertainty, and grief. Bringing a hand to your heart, tapping into feelings of love and warmth for yourself. Repeating silently, may I be safe. May I be happy. May I be healthy. May I live with ease. And now tapping into the feelings of love and warmth for your family members, your friends, your community, friends and family and members, feeling the natural rhythm of your breath, repeating silently to yourself, may you be safe. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you live with ease. Focusing all of your attention on your heart center, offering all of the love that you have in your heart for everyone in the world who is suffering, offering these phrases silently for their healing and their strength. May you be safe. May you be healthy. May you be happy. May you live with ease. Lowering your hand from your heart, taking another deep breath in through the nose. And as you exhale, repeat silently, may I love and accept myself completely. We can accept ourselves as we are in this moment. Trust that you are exactly as you are right now. You are enough exactly as you are right now. Know that you are exactly where you are supposed to be. Be easy with yourself as you move through the difficult days and the big emotions. Take it moment by moment. May you be safe. May you be happy. May you be healthy. And may you live with ease. Taking 3 nice natural breaths on your own pace. And before opening your eyes, name one thing that you're grateful for in this moment. So thank you all so much for being here, for your care for others, for your care for your family members, for your care for the community. I love you. May you just continue to keep doing all that you think is possible and all that you need to do for yourself, for your families, for your countries, and for the world. So I'm very excited to take any questions. Michelle?
Hi, everyone.
Hi, sweetie.
Can you see me?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
So Michelle and I have been quarantining separate too, so I always love seeing her. Had to throw that in.
Yes. So I've been monitoring the questions. So if anyone has any questions, please feel free to write in on the Q&A little section. But so far, we have a few that have come through. Do you have any tips or suggestions on dealing with extreme inner pain from past traumas?
So that I feel, whenever you have past traumas, undealt with, unprocessed past traumas, now to have this trauma compounded makes it very difficult. And so my heart goes out to you because I've been there and I understand what you're feeling. I think seeing someone that you can talk to, that you can trust completely, a therapist, a really trusted friend, a counselor, a pastor, I think is the first suggestion. It's certainly what I did when I was going through my own trauma and then any traumas that happened along the way. But I would also just suggest being easy with yourself, being gentle with yourself. Please let go of any expectations that you might have, that you have to do certain things a certain way or be perfect, all the things that we said today. And journal. It's helpful to start journaling, but don't allow yourself to go too far with, it's good to feel the feelings, but when it starts to be too much, I would stop, because I really think it's important for you to see someone and talk to someone about the pain and the trauma. And so I feel you and I love you. You got this.
Yay. Someone else has asked, this is a good one. We've talked about something similar. Do you have any tips on mindfully dealing with a breakup during quarantine?
Oh, that is hard. Yes, it's all about.
And I have something that I'll add when you're done. So go ahead.
Me too. So it's all about the mind. So the mind is, so we're already quarantined. We're already alone. We're already dealing with this trauma. We're already dealing with all of the things that are happening. So all of the ways that I gave you today are so important to bring your mind back to the present moment. So the present moment is you're in a breakup. And so it's really, really critical for you to stay in the present moment, knowing that this too shall pass. I can handle whatever's happening right now. Let me have the space to be able to get clear. As I said, you have the heat of the anger. When we were talking about anger, when you really process the anger, I am angry, I would start journaling, writing down all of the things that you might like to say to this person or that you might like to tell yourself. So every chance you can get the feelings out on paper, or a trusted friend or a counselor or any person like that that you trust, that you can be vulnerable with. I would refrain from reaching out to the person. I would use all of your tools and all of your energy toward putting it on paper, talking to yourself, and talking to another person that you trust and that you could be vulnerable with. Knowing that healing is a process and it's not linear. Grief is a process and it's not linear. And I've been doing a whole lot of work on the 5 stages of grief during this pandemic. So you're going to go through denial and anger and bargaining and depression, sadness, and acceptance. And it may come in different orders, or it may all get mixed up, and it's not linear, but just accept yourself where you are in this moment, knowing that everything that you're feeling and everything that's happening is okay, and that you are okay, and that you will get through this, and that it's a process and there is no timeline. I hope that helps. Michelle, yeah, you.
I will say too, just to piggyback on that, there is some sort of comfort in knowing that we're all stuck at home together. And I know in past times with other breakups in my life, there was always this like fear of missing out, and this person was going to be going out and doing all of these things, and I was going to be home alone. And at least in this instance, we are all home alone or with our families. And so even though I'm not personally going through a breakup right now, I'm really cherishing this time that I have to myself, or some of the quiet time or some of the downtime where I can really focus on my health and my mental health and my well-being and personal growth, so that whenever things start to go back to normal, I'll feel really good and strong. And this also, someone else asked a question in the meantime about friend breakups, and this goes for friend breakups too. And you and I have been talking about this a lot in our own lives, of not taking things personally. I think everyone's dealing with this in different ways and in different mechanisms. And so sometimes people being a little short or distant or not communicating as much as they usually are, it might just be how they're coping, and it doesn't have anything to do with you. So just, try and start to get into a practice of not taking the actions of other people personally, especially when it comes to friendships and things like that too.
Right. I like the thing that you said. Yeah, you're right. When you do have a breakup, you are alone. And so the idea that we are all alone together for the most part. Now we've started opening up the world a little bit more, but we are alone. So there is some comfort in that, knowing that I'm alone and everyone else is alone. So we're all alone together. So you don't feel like you're not so normal, because you are normal. It's easy for us to say this is only happening to me and I'm not normal, and why did this happen to me and something's wrong with me. No, none of that is true. You are normal. We're all alone together. And so I love what you said, using this alone time to keep your mind in the present moment, processing the grief and the anger and all of the feelings that you're having. I hope this helps.
Yeah, we have a few questions in the similar vein of going back to work, going back to school, going back into places of the public, and feeling fear around how do we get past the fear of going back to these things, and also how do we keep our own sense of calm and mindfulness when we go back, and also passing that along to our coworkers and people that are in our lives that maybe haven't been practicing this.
I love this question because I've been thinking about this a lot. I've had it a lot. Here's the deal. Here's the truth. You have to be true to you without judging anyone else, without having opinions about anything. Like not allowing your mind to go to, they're not doing it, what's the matter with them, what's happening, or they are doing it, why are they doing this? Just being true to you and allowing other people to do the same. I've noticed this for myself because people are practicing in whatever way they feel is right for them. Might not be how I would want to be practicing or what I think is right for me, but just remember that it's right for you. So if let's just say your practice is the 6 feet social distance and the mask, you do that no matter what. And you say that up front to your friends, colleagues, community members, people on the street that you're walking with. Whatever that is, you just stay true to yourself in the most kind and integral way that you can, not in your face and not any kind of attitude with it, but just being true to yourself. And this is what works for me and this is what's right for you. And so if they're not practicing in the same way, instead of judging them and telling them to do something differently, you just practice your way, which keeps you 6 feet apart from them, which keeps you with a mask on, and it keeps your anxiety down because you can't control them anyway. You're not going to teach them a lesson. You're not, during a pandemic is not the time to be trying to teach anyone a lesson or try to be right. I mean, so I think we're talking about managing anxiety and really being able to own our own power and what we can and can't control. So you can't control another person. So just stay true to yourself and really use your practices not to judge.
And then what about the fear piece? I think a lot of us feel fear about, well, the uncertainty and the unknowing, but
right.
There's some other questions of fears of getting sick or fears of loved ones getting sick or on all of that. So I know we don't know and we can't control and everything is uncertain, but how do we start to manage the fear?
So I think that's, yeah. There's several fears I think you brought up. But the first fear is me going out into the world. You know, I've been quarantined, but I have been going to the grocery store, you know, probably 6 times in 10 weeks, whatever. I have been walking and doing my exercises. So I've been wearing my mask and I've been keeping 6 feet of distance. So I have to trust, I can't do anything more. When we talk about where's my sense of control and where's my sense of power, there's nothing more that I can do. I have to trust that the scientists and the doctors have all said, if you wear a mask and you keep 6 feet distance, chances are you're going to be safe. And so nothing is ever 100% safe. So it's really about trusting that I'm doing my part and I'm going to trust that life is going to be trustworthy and do its part right back to me. It's the only way you can do that because you don't have control anyway.
And part of the practice with mindfulness and meditation is you start to know yourself and understand yourself and your body. So if something starts to feel off, you can take an action sooner than if you were a little more disconnected from yourself.
And I think it works that way, Michelle, don't you? Like if you believe it, it's real. So I believe in myself. I believe in the and what the doctors and the science are saying. That I'm choosing to that's the way that I'm choosing to live during this pandemic. So I believe it's going to work. So until it's proven otherwise, or until something happens, I'm going to believe what's happening in this present moment. I'm going to believe what's happening where my feet are. And this is why this is so genius. I mean, it's so perfect for what's happening. It's happening right now, so I'm going to believe it for right now. And when it happens in the next right now, I'll believe it for the next right now. And so the other fear that I heard come up was fear about family members. That is a hard one, but you have no control over that. You can be the model in terms of this is what's right for me, or this is what I think. You can inform them of what you feel and your thoughts about everything, and your love and your care and your concern and all of the things. You can do all of that, but at the end of the day, they have to do what's right and in alignment for what they have to do. And so you truly just have to give up and put them in, if you're a religious person, you can put them in God's hands. If you're whatever you believe in, you put them in the hands of the universe or the spirit, that they are taken care of and that they will get everything that they need to manage the next moment. It's not easy, but I think when you start to believe and trust in yourself completely, it tends to start seeping into being able to trust and believe that your family members and friends are being taken care of as well, even if they're not acting the way you would like them to act.
Great. Someone else has asked that they feel like, you'll like this one, they're having trouble focusing and they feel like a hummingbird moving from one thought to another, project to project. And even when she tries to meditate, she finds her mind wanting to hurry up and move on. Any suggestions on how to rein in the hummingbird mind?
Thoughts. First,
This is your specialty.
Well, because I'll start with the meditation first, because if you are meditating, yes, reframe what the definition of meditation is for yourself. Truly meditating, all it is just sitting with your thoughts. So, and not getting up for the specified amount of time that you want to sit for your meditation. So I think that alone can change the anxiety that you might be having about meditating, because you're looking for an outcome that's not possible. We can't stop the mind from thinking. We can't make something happen. We can only assume the stance in our chair of least resistance. So I can just be in my chair with my attention on my breath, or whatever your item is, or whatever your object is for meditation, and just allow the mind to think. The power in meditation is not getting up, not giving in. Mahatma Gandhi said this, there is no failure in meditation. The only failure in meditation is the failure in not meditating and not doing it, not showing up for yourself. So that's the thing with meditation. Don't have zero expectation. Just sit in your chair and stay for your specified amount of time, and know that your meditation will show up in your patience and your care and your ability to be able to pause in the moment all throughout your day. And then the second thing about the mind, these practices, these ways during the day, that weaving that 14 minutes throughout the day is powerful. I'm so happy they did that study, because that 1%, those 14 minutes truly can transform the other 99%, because you are 14 minutes of a day bringing your mind back to the present moment. So when you're feeling like your mind is jumping all around, just stop. It may seem like that's not going to do anything. It may seem like, oh, what is that going to do? Just stop. It does so much. Just stop. When I told you that, when I ask myself, when I check in during this pandemic a lot, I'd say, how are you doing today, Barb? Literally, my mind would say, I want you to sit down. Because it wanted me to just stop. It wanted me to pause. It wanted me to take a break. Whatever inside of me was just, so your body and your mind your nervous system is on overload, as I said, want you to just pause. So please just practice that. Every time you feel, use the hummingbird as your trigger. So every time you feel like your mind is a hummingbird, use that as a trigger to stop and take a few deep breaths. You might be doing that 100 times a day. But I promise you, the next day it might be 88. The next day it might be 75. The next day it might be 62. This is a marathon. This pandemic is a marathon. And our lives are a marathon, and the day is a marathon. It's not a sprint. So really, truly, the 1 minute, 1 minute, 1 minute, 1 minute has a transformational effect on not only on your nervous system and on your life, but on your ability to be able to enjoy what's happening for you in the moment. Okay. Hummingbird trigger. I like that.
I like that too. And I guess being mindful of time, we'll just answer one more. I like this one. You mentioned it takes 90 seconds for a feeling to travel through your body. Does it accelerate or does anything accelerate or decelerate this? We also talked about this.
I'm sorry, Michelle. I just messed up.
What's wrong?
Could you ask that question again?
Sure.
Something popped up on my computer and I muted you.
Okay, so you mentioned it takes 90 seconds for a feeling to travel through your body. Is there anything that you can do to accelerate or decelerate this?
Decelerate it. Start thinking about the feeling. Start having judgments about it. Start introducing thoughts into it. instead of actually feeling the feeling. So here's the practice. I'm feeling something right now. Like right now, I was feeling something popped up on my computer and I started feeling, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. So I went to fix it. And then I told you what was happening. So I could have not told you what was happening and named it, because that would have, oh, I'm embarrassed. I just muted the question you were trying to ask me. This may sound really simple and silly, but it's so powerful. So just owning who you are in every moment, what you're feeling, what's happening, how you're doing, and not worrying about what anyone else thinks, and not worrying about what you think about yourself, because we judge ourselves so much. So you feel the feeling deeply. And so what I do is I feel the feeling. I'm feeling the feeling coming on, and I'll name it. Barb, you're starting to feel angry. Barb, you're feeling really sad right now. And then I'll ask myself a series of questions. What is it that's making you feel sad right now? And so you're like opening the feeling up instead of closing it down and shoving it down. Oh, you're feeling angry. You don't have time to feel angry. You're feeling sad. Oh, come on. We're always judging and pushing things aside. So I believe strongly in opening them up. And so this has taken me a long time to say all this, but that's the 90 seconds. That's the 90 seconds. Oh, I'm feeling angry. Oh, I'm angry about this happening and this happening. Oh, okay. So what can I actually do about it? Nothing. Okay. Done. So it doesn't mean all of the anger is gone, but it means that feeling of anger in that moment has moved through your body. It may come back, and then you have another feeling of anger, or you have another feeling of sadness. But you've opened it up, you've discussed it, and you've closed it. So that feeling is done. I hope this helps, because it's not easy to understand, but once you get it, it's so fabulous. It's like, okay, let me feel this without judging, without anything, and allowing it to move through my body. Because you're making space then for the next feeling to come. And what has happened for me, when I make space and allow the anger to move through, I would say every single time, especially during this pandemic, sadness and grief comes in. So Eckhart Tolle's quote really resonates with me big time, because the sadness comes in, or I want to start crying. And we're alone a lot, so we can cry.
Yeah.
I mean, we can cry anyway, but a lot of times we stop ourselves from crying because we don't want other people to see us, but we can cry now. And I think it's good practice and good for us to see that we are normal, amazing, incredible human beings, just having the normal, amazing emotions that everyone on the planet is having.
Well, great.
One quick one. Are there any more or no?
Quick.
I know you don't think
tips for supporting a spouse who has anxiety, or I guess this could be a loved one or friend, or how can you help someone who has it? Not a quick one, is it?
I would say the best tip that I give is to listen, like to name it for them. Not in a judgmental way, not in an attacking way, but in a, how are you feeling? Like ask them how are you feeling right now? Do you need anything? Can I do anything for you? If you can feel the anxiety. And if they don't want to talk about it, that's fine. I don't want you to keep prodding them or anything, but just opening the door to, I'm here. I'm here if you need anything. I'm here to listen. And I think I know for people, me too, I think we all fall into this category that not having the edge of judgment, or I can fix you, or there is something wrong with you, but trying to be very open and just like, I'm here if you need anything. In a very easy, I use this word my best friend used all the time, easy breezy, like in a very easy breezy, caring, loving way. And see if that helps. It might help to crack open their feelings a little bit, or show ways that you can help.
I got a message that we have a little bit more time, so we can take another question. Someone else wrote in that they're having a hard time feeling like their space is being invaded with all of the Zoom meetings and online stuff, distance learning with your children, and is having a difficult time staying mindful and has felt an increase in anxiety from this. Do you have any mindfulness tips to help feeling less invaded?
Two, but the first one is using these tips these ways that I gave you today. And I really try hard to, And I know it doesn't come across probably as simple as they are. It's not easy because you're the one that has to practice it, but they're so simple. Like you're feeling anxiety, stop and breathe. You're feeling overwhelmed, stop and breathe. You're waiting for something and your mind is going crazy, repeat a positive affirmation. So they're really simple, but you just have to do them. So if you're feeling anxiety and you're feeling stressed, and then I'll deal with the Zoom meetings and all the other stuff that you have going on. If you're starting to feel anxiety and stress, just truly putting your care first. Your care, you're putting your life preserver on first, your oxygen mask on first, putting your care first. You're starting to feel overwhelmed. Excuse yourself with your kids or your partner or your coworkers or whatever and go to the bathroom. And just stand in the bathroom for a few minutes and close your eyes and take a couple deep breaths. Notice what you need to do to take care of you. You have to take care of you. You can hear in all the questions. I can hear from everyone. I can hear from my own self. Like, Barb, please take care of me. You're not taking care of me. Sit down. So when you start practicing, you're going to start hearing this more. So take care of you. Every time you notice it, practice one of these things, especially using your breath and a positive affirmation. But then waking up and going to bed at night, you have no constraints there. So please make sure you start your day and end your day as bookends of control and sense of I got this because I have my own sense of control. And then with the Zoom meetings and all of that stuff, Michelle and I've had this a lot too. We've been doing a lot of this. I think I felt like I've been busier now than I was before.
You definitely have been.
Yeah. Is having boundaries. Is looking at your schedule. Because I remember someone asked me to do something yesterday. And I looked at the calendar and I said, I can't. We'll have to do it next week. And they said, and that was fine. They were disappointed, really disappointed. And I remember getting off the phone and my mind said, why can't you? You're not doing anything that day. And I said to myself immediately, yes, I am. I'm preparing for this amazing thing that I'm doing today. So I have very clear boundaries of what I need to take care of myself because what I'm doing today with all of you is the most important thing that could be happening in my life right now. That's what I mean by living in the present moment, being where your feet are. This is the most important thing in my life right now, above everything else, that I'm 100% here giving everything that I've got to all of you. And so I can't do that if I'm doing 10 things yesterday and I'm going to do 5 more things tomorrow. So I think boundaries. And you know, it could be tough if you're at work.
But I was going to say also with the boundaries, like, you know, if you're on your computer a lot with the Zooms, maybe limiting your computer time of, you know, Facebook or social media or anything that's not essential, having that boundary with yourself or not bringing your computer into your bedroom or creating a boundary that makes you feel like you at least have some sort of sacred space and time for yourself that's not invaded by technology or other people. And that could be hard because you might have a bunch of things going on. But like you said in your talk, it can be just a couple minutes in the morning or at night or in the bathroom or wherever you can squeeze it in that gives you that sense of sanity and peace.
Yeah, it's so important. I love that you said that because it matters, you know, it matters what you're taking in through your eyes and ears. We would never eat a whole chocolate cake and think we're going to feel fine in the next minute or even the next day. Well, we know we're not going to feel too well the next day. We still will do it maybe, but so ask yourself, what do I need in this moment? What will bring me joy? What will bring me some peace? What will bring me a sense of calm and confidence in this moment that I might be taking in through my eyes or ears? I know that, Michelle, when we first started this, my screen time, because I don't go on technology that much. I do the things that I need to do on social media for myself, but when I first, after that week, that thing popped up, I was like, oh my gosh. And I laughed, but you know what I said to myself? No wonder I'm feeling so tired at the end of the day. So that's what I love. You're going to know yourself so completely that you're going to be able to say, because I kept thinking to myself, why am I so tired? I'm not going anywhere. I'm tired because that screen time and all of that stuff that I'm taking in through my senses, especially on a screen or on a television or a phone. It takes a lot of energy. So I hope that helps. Boundaries. Know what you can do and what you can't do. And I think people appreciate that. One more thing, because I give my all. And you have all of me whenever I'm doing anything. I'm listening, I'm right there, I'm with you. So in this and in everything else that I do, and I think when people recognize that, they really start to appreciate the energy that you're bringing to the table for everything that you're doing for yourself and for others.
Perfect. I love that.
I do
That's a
have
great way to. Oh,
I
that's
do.
perfect.
Good.
Well, great. The last thing I just wanted to say is I've seen a lot of questions asking if this is going to be living somewhere, and I believe that it'll be on the Junior League's Facebook page as they've been streaming this live. So if you missed parts of it, or if you want to redo the meditation, you can do it from there.
And we're going to share it.
Yes, we did share it.
Oh, we're going to be sharing it on our Peaceful Mind, Peaceful Life site. Oh, good. And I'll share it on my Barb Schmidt if you want to share it on yours. So all of the Peaceful Mind, Peaceful Life.
It's all shared.
Social media will have it.
And yeah, we look forward to being with all of you in person, hopefully sometime soon at the Boca Raton Regional Hospital for our workshops and series. And yeah.
Jamie and all of the Junior League of Boca Raton, we love you. You are angels in this community. You do so much for this community, and we're going to need so much now more than ever. And it's really a talk about peace of mind to know all of the angels in this community that are constantly helping and sharing and giving and nurturing and stepping up whenever anything is needed. Earth angels. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. And thank you for this opportunity to be able to share and help people from all over the world. I think it's so cool that we are live streaming, or people are going to be able to access this all over the world. So thank you. It's been an honor to be with all of you today. I love you so much.
Thank you so much. This was so amazing. Thank you so much, Michelle and Barb. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.